Hi everyone. Today I thought I'd do some faux embossing, but I'm also going to do another technique called the spotlight technique. So for this card we're going to have two techniques on one card. I've got myself a dauber, some distress oxides, I've got the lost shadow and the aged mahogany. Now the aged mahogany I thought went extremely well with this really pretty dark brown cardstock, so that's that colour. I've got myself a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 craft card blank. My first matte layer, which I need to make sure I've got the right one, so that would be 5 5/8. I've got my top piece of craft card which I'm going to be working on, which is 5 1/2 square, and then I've got another piece of the dark brown to go on the inside of the card, 13, so that's 5 13/16, but you can cut these whatever size you want. Again, that's square, 5 13/16. I've got a white piece of cardstock to go over the top of that in the middle at 4 1/2 by 5. I've chosen this really pretty floral embossing folder, and this is a 3D folder, and this is called the Flower Bouquet crafts2.com. so that's the embossing folder that I'm going to be using. I'm going to choose a sentiment from the Elegant Script Essential Sentiments by Sentimentally Yours, and I am going to cut the sentiment out with one of the double debossed essential rectangles, one of these tiny ones in the middle, so I'll be using that later on. So the first thing I'm going to do is run my piece of craft card through my embossing folder. This is smaller than the actual folder. That's fine, that's how I want it. So I'm just going to run this through my embossing machine. And there you can see we've got this really, really beautiful 3D embossed image. There's some real depth to that. So the first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take in the lost shadow in the distress oxides, and loading up my dauber, I'm going to very, very gently go over my image, and I'm trying not to go off of the edges. A lot of people you see do this will use a white ink. I don't own any white inks, so I thought I'd give this a go with the distress oxides. And you can see this is picking this up really pretty. So a very light hand, just going all the way over. Now some people will run their ink pad over. You can do it that way if you want to. Some people use a sponge. We've all got our own ways of doing things. As long as we get to the same end goal, it's really doing it how you want to do it. So just pick up some of those outer leaves, and as you'll see, I'm not covering the whole thing. I'm just allowing the ink to go where it wants to go on the raised areas. There's that one. There's a couple there, and then there's these really thin ones just there. Now that's all I want to do with that. So that's using a distress oxide. And then for the spotlight technique, I'm going to take in the aged mahogany. I'm going to load up another dauber, and I'm just going to choose which way around I want this. I think I want this way around, and I'm going to just choose one floral, and I think I'm going to go with this one. So again, all I'm going to do is run my dauber over the floral quite lightly and just colour that one in. And as you can see, that's coloured that one in beautifully. I'm going to make the centre a little bit darker. And that's all I want to do with that one. So there we've got our faux embossing and the spotlight technique. I'm just going to pop that to one side to dry. And I'm going to take in all my bits and pieces, just making sure they're both the same size, so that's fine. So I'm going to use those two for the inside. This one I'm going to glue straight down onto my card base. And I don't know the name of the colour of this card, but what I will tell you is it's the Lidl cardstock, which is absolutely stunning. I don't know if you shop in Lidl's, if you've ever been to Lidl's. My daughter goes to Lidl's, and whenever they've got their cardstock in, she'll give me a bell and say, "Mum, the cardstock's in, do you want me to grab you some?" And if I show you the packaging, this is what it's like. It's the, let's see how far, yeah, so it's the Creelando cardstock. It's 270 GSM, and you get all these beautiful colours, and it's just so big. I think it's A3 in size, so that's 12. Yeah, it's about 14 inches long by about 9.5 wide, so it's really, really nice cardstock. So if you're in the UK and you want some really nice thick quality cardstock, Creelando from Lidl's, and I think it's £2.99 for one. And I won't tell you how many my daughter got me, because you'll think I'm absolutely mental. And now we're going to pop this on with glue. And ordinarily when I've embossed something, I would put it up with foam tape. I thought I wanted to glue this one down. So when you've done some embossing, make sure you put a nice bit of glue on the back. Get this the right way around. That looks like that's quite dry now, and we're just gonna pop that one down, turn that over and give that a really nice press down on the back. So this is where we are with this card at the moment. But the only thing I don't like about craft card is when you open it up, you've got the back. So what I thought I would do with this one is I'm going to line the back, and then I'm going to pop a piece of white cardstock over for my sentiment. So we get a nice bit of glue all on the back. Get that one lined up nicely. There we go. And again with the white piece. That's the center of our card. So that's really looking quite pretty. Now the sentiment that I think I would like to use, I think I'm going to choose sending warm wishes your way. Yeah, that's quite a long, yeah, lovely. So sending warm wishes your way. Now you are going to need a long stamping block for this if you're going to do this freehand. Line this up on your glass mat or whatever mat you use. Now we've got two choices. We could either ink this up in the, actually that's come out quite pink now, hasn't it, that? So I might go back in with a different colour. Before we do the sentiment, I think I'm going to go over this floral with the walnut stain and see if we can get that to look more brown. In actual fact, with the aged mahogany underneath, it might give us the colour that we want. Yep, I think that looks better. Got a piece of scrap card. So we're keeping in with the card stock. We're not going any white for this card apart from the sentiment piece in the middle. Sending warm wishes your way. Just let me give this stamp a little clean off. Pop that one straight back where it belongs. There we go. And then this sentiment, I think I'm going to have to cut this out freehand or take in my, I was going to use the rectangles, but, or we could, so these might be better. This is the Slender Collection double debossed, so that might be a better option for cutting out that sentiment. So if we pop this one just there, and I think it is going to be, that's okay. I'm just going to tape this one down so that that doesn't go anywhere, and I'm just going to run this through the embossing machine. Now a top tip, when you're running larger dies through your cutting machine, either run them long ways or run them on an angle, and that way you'll find that the rollers distribute the cut better. How beautiful that's cut that sentiment. Let's bring this back in, and this one I thought I would run just along the bottom, and that's exactly the right size. I'm going to take in some foam tape, kind of run a little bit along the edges, and I think I've run out of this one. A tiny bit just there. Done with my scissors, I've gone over the edge a bit there. I need to just snip that off. There we go. Remove those backings. I'm going to line that up with the first layer. I'm going to make sure that's straight. And there we go. So the last thing I want to do to this is add a gem in the middle. Now I don't own any brown gems. So what I'm going to do is take in a chestnut brown alcohol marker and I'm going to colour one in. Now this tip you can do on clear gems and white pearls, but you cannot do it on coloured gems or coloured pearls. I'm just going to pop a tiny bit of glue. I'm going to pick that gem up and I'm going to pop that in the centre. There we go. So there's our really pretty craft card. On the inside we've put a matte and a white piece to write a sentiment. Faux embossing with the spotlight technique, all done on craft card. How beautiful is that? Well, I hope you enjoyed my little video. I hope you give this a go. Hope you've learned something. And until the next time, bye for now.